To pray, there's no angels where I go. Only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Show here. Now, whenever we last left off, Midoriya and Inko had just taken out some less than desirable, low-level thugs. Inko knew about a meeting going on in a warehouse, meaning that there would be a lot of people to take down, and she kind of set up her own kind of ambush, unaware of what these men were truly buying and selling. So, after Inko kind of went a bit sadistic and angry, she murdered all the men inside the warehouse, along with them, or the three-eyed ghoul, chasing down a van, and murdering the man who was driving it. Let's cut to Midoriya, the next day in school. That has been the topic of discussion. In fact, everyone just keeps talking about the three-eyed ghoul. A lot of them do have videos and other things they are sharing, since a lot of them were being taken down as soon as they were posted. Midoriya is somewhat just shaking off quite a lot of this stuff, and trying to focus on what he's currently working on, as he's taking notes. Now, as soon as the bell for lunch does ring, Bakugo immediately turns around, and starts asking Midoriya if he knows any of those new rumors going on about the ghoul. Oh, the three-eyed ghoul, right? Yeah, have you not heard about it? Well, I have, it's just that I'm trying to focus on everything. It's getting a lot harder to study and, well, at least take notes other than talking about it. Hell, I'm pretty sure the teacher's even talking about it with someone else. Huh? How do you know that? Oh, well, I mean, all the other students are doing it besides. Our teacher was looking at her phone earlier. You know that, right? Oh. Alright, well, I guess I just must have missed it. Yeah, probably. She did it whenever she thought no one was looking. Now, that is whenever both these two would get up and head to the cafeteria, getting lunch and eating. Midoriya stomaching the food, since he's going to be puking it up later. Now, with that being said, after the rest of the day and everyone talking about what's going on with the school, and apparently what they've heard, some people are thinking it was at least justified murder. However, other people do at least think that that does not mean that amount of men should have died. Some people think they should have gone to jail. This being a bit of a weird discussion, since the people who try and defend the ghouls also at the same time, they kinda are unsure of what to say. Yeah, they murdered a lot of people. Yeah, I'm not really sure where to take that anyway. Moving along, Midoriya and Bakugo are headed home. In fact, on the way there, they actually do have a bit of an idea. Bakugo does want to get in that sparring match Midoriya owes him, as he tells Midoriya that if he gets to the beach before him, then he has to do one thing. He's buying them lunch tomorrow, as he just starts running off, using his explosions to actually get a bit faster, and stay ahead of Midoriya. Well, Midoriya actually does do one thing. He adjusts his glasses and bends downwards, before just taking off as fast as he can, immediately just running past Bakugo. As soon as Bakugo sees Midoriya, he actually would go to throw up a punch. As soon as he does bring his hand to go through an explosion, he then tries to remember, they're in a residential area, so that's not good. before just focusing back on the race as Midoriya ran past him. Watching as, well, he's left in the dust. Eventually, arriving to see Midoriya just standing by the beach. Asking exactly what was that his offer was about lunch. Shut up, asshole. Anyways, what are we doing here? Well, I wanted to get that spar in, but seems like you might already be ready. Alright, well, take your time. Bakugo a bit angry that Midoriya's being cocky. The guy's always been like that. He's been cocky and he's been arrogant. So, let's see what happens now. As the two do square off on the beach. Midoriya ready and waiting for Bakugo. Now, it would begin. Bakugo running forwards and actually blasting himself upwards into the air. And beginning by turning his wrist and beginning to spin himself in a circle. As Midoriya does come in, he actually just tries and kick Midoriya. Midoriya bringing his hand upwards and blocking the kick as much as he can. Actually feeling his body move backwards, since he did actually brace himself a lot for that. Bakugo then bringing up his left hand and going to actually blast Midoriya in the face. As soon as Midoriya does see his hand, he uses his quick thinking and immediately just moves his shoulder upwards, hitting Bakugo's hand upwards as it blasts off directly overhead. That's sending Midoriya's glasses flying off of his face. As Midoriya quickly just grabs Bakugo and goes to smash him to the ground. Doing so as Bakugo turns his wrist and immediately begins to start blasting at Midoriya's chest. The two going on to fight. As a lot of people do at least start seeing this. The ones who do stick around for the fight do see it, since there's very loud explosions going off and there is a guy fighting with Bakugo. Some people mistaking this for a villain attack, and calling the cops. Since it's loud, booming, and you do see two people fighting very intensely on the beach. The fight is about to end, as Midoriya, he's rushing straight for Bakugo, and Bakugo's rushing straight for him. Bakugo socking him directly in the face by smashing his palm into his nose and letting off an explosion, at point blank range. That actually hurting Midoriya, as Midoriya punched him square in the face. And he got sent backwards, as Midoriya, he accidentally, I put that in quotations, falls to the ground, and is out of breath, panting heavily as he's fairly certain he needs to buy another shirt. As the police do break this up. One man questioning Midoriya while the other one questions Bakugo, trying to get information on exactly what these two are doing out here so late in the afternoon. Now, after the police officers hear that the, dark-haired boy has a durability and healing quirk a bit, and that the other one has an explosion quirk, they kind of do understand it a bit. The two are trained to be heroes. Should not be surprising, especially with the way things are right now. The cops telling the young boys that they need to be very careful, and that they need to get home very soon. Ghouls are going to start coming out of the woodworks anytime tonight. Especially with the three-eyed ghoul, everyone is on high alert. Now, Midoriya would just walk over and pick up his glasses, as the next thing the cop does say is that they also should not be using their quirks out here, let alone without permission from, as Midoriya just cuts him off, saying that, sorry, but I'm not too sure we understand. Why can't we use our quirks out here? There's no one around for, I'm fairly certain, a good couple miles? Even then, everyone stopped coming here the day all that stuff arrived. Midoriya throwing his hand over his shoulder, pointing out to the massive piles of trash just left there, asking the officers why doesn't the city just take care of all that? They easily could, right? The cop then telling Midoriya that does not matter right now, shaking off his question, saying that for right now, just head home and get there fast. It's almost dark. Now, with that being said, Midoriya and Bakugo do start heading home. As they do, part ways. Eventually, Midoriya, he is making his way through an alley, taking a bit of a shortcut. He wants to get there faster, along with the fact that he does have to do some special training. He did say that he needed to go talk to Yoshimura, and that the only way to do so would be at the phone at his house. His mom didn't give him a cell phone yet. Now, with that being said, Midoriya is actually using this excuse to go over to Inteku and talk with the old man in person. Now, as Midoriya is heading there, he does eventually get stopped, since he is running through the alleyways and the back streets. As a man does tell Midoriya that he shouldn't be out here so late, especially for a boy so young. So, let's make a bit of a deal. You are going to do exactly what we say and then you won't get hurt. Got it? Midoriya backing up, and at least registering what the guy said. We. As he does hear two sets of footsteps behind him, immediately turning around and bringing up his hands. The guy then saying that, "Oh, we got a fighter here, boys." As the man's eyes turning into ghouls. As Midoriya realizes his situation. Oh, great. Now, with that being said, they do all start releasing their abilities and surround Midoriya. This is a 3-on-1, and he's at least trying to think of a way to get out of this without having to reveal himself. As one of the ghouls do go to actually rush forwards, and throughout their, what was it? Rukaku, I believe it's called. They're using different forms of Kagune. Now, this one does throw out his Kagune, as Midoriya does actually dodge to the right, grabbing it and immediately pulling it in a certain way. This actually confusing the ghoul. Confused for seconds, as Midoriya tells him that he really should not have done that, let alone try and mess with me. Midoriya just bringing his hands up and taking off his glasses, putting them into his pocket as he does actually just look up, and start to smile. This confusing the ghoul as Midoriya turns on his abilities and his Kagune pops out of his back. This somewhat freaking out and surprising these guys. One of them is freaking out because this guy is also a ghoul, while the other one is actually freaking out because this kid's a one-eyed ghoul. As they do at least think that this guy has some connection to the owl. Or what was it? No, the three-eyed ghoul, right? Has to be something about that. That was recent, and those things was fast and strong, and looked exactly like that too. Well, come and get it. This being where one of the ghouls does actually rush forwards and try and use their heavy weapon Kagune, I don't remember its name, trying to actually fight with Midoriya and kill him at least. They've heard a little bit of a rumor before, and they're really hoping it's true. A one-eyed ghoul is a delicacy. In fact, it's probably not even considered cannibalism, since they're a rare breed of ghoul, right? I've heard they taste so good. As he actually does go to slice into Midoriya. Midoriya's Kagune immediately just blocking the hits, as Midoriya stabs his hand directly through the man's chest, and pulls it back out, pulling his entrails out, as he does actually grab the man by his face, and crush his head into the ground. Turning around and immediately back. Now, as soon as that does happen, Midoriya actually does jump upwards into the air, and dodge an attack that was supposed to directly cut off his Kagune. As the other ghoul, that at least talked to Midoriya, does actually start yammering on about the One-Eyed King, and talking about how they're going to eat him. Midoriya getting really annoyed and pissed off, running forwards and immediately just grabbing this man and then punching him directly in the face. However, Midoriya does feel something on his hands, looking to see that the man is directly biting onto his knuckles and just going down more. Midoriya is seeing that and beginning to wince in pain, bringing up his other hand and stabbing his thumb into the man's eye, and trying to at least get him to let go, as the man keeps biting down, Midoriya forcing his hand and his fist into the ground, before stomping on the top of the man's head, him finally letting go, as he's trying to mumble something to himself. Delicious. One of the other ghouls immediately grabbing onto Midoriya's back, and taking a chunk directly out of his shoulder, as Midoriya releases his Kagune once more, stabbing it directly through the man's intestines as he does actually begin to go upwards into the air, Midoriya slamming his body onto the other man in front of him, as he does actually think for a second. My, that was annoying, and it hurt. Before looking back at the third man on the ground. He's still regenerating. Midoriya bringing his Kagune up and stabbing it directly through the man's chest, his entire abdomen, taking out his ghoul organs, meaning that he will die. As the other two have gotten back up, and they've gone a bit berserk, the flavor and the taste of a half ghoul. Amazing. As they do try and rush Midoriya, one of them going for heavy attacks, while the other one does go for lightweight ones and fast moving. Midoriya using two of his tendrils to block the heavy attack and hits, as it actually does break through one of his tendrils. While for the lightweight attacker guy, he does come in and actually try and slash away at Midoriya. Him actually being able to cut through Midoriya's shirt and through parts of his torso. Midoriya wincing in pain as he does actually make one of his tendrils wrap around his arm, immediately being able to stab it outwards into the man's neck, putting a hole through his windpipe, as he actually does smash into the ground. Midoriya then just running forwards and bring his hands directly into the heavyweight ghoul, stabbing them directly through his chest and through his heart, as he moves his hands upwards and grabs onto something, before ripping and pulling on it as hard as he can, tearing out the man's weapon organ. The man falling backwards into the ground, and beginning to at least cough up a bit of blood. Asking Midoriya exactly why is he like this? Why did he do this? Midoriya putting his Kagune away and saying that they attacked him. So, I will at least give you one warning. This isn't really even a serious fight. In fact, that was fun. So thank you. But I am going to be late. So, I'm just gonna have to kill the rest of you. You did see my face. Midoriya bringing back his Kagune sack and stuffing it into the man's mouth, as he then drives a spike through his brain and kills him. As for the last ghoul, yeah. Midoriya makes quick work of him, tearing out the Ghoul organs and making sure that he can't regenerate, leaving him for dead as he takes off, running over into an alleyway and actually beginning to jump between the buildings, parkouring his way to the rooftop as he tries to make his way to Deku. As soon as he does get there, you do have Yoshimura, who does look at his watch. Midoriya is around 30 minutes late. I was supposed to teach that boy something today. Well, I guess it can't be helped. Though he is beginning to worry me. No, he's a remarkable fighter, very capable. So, let's see. I suppose I should at least put a hot pot of coffee on then, for when he does arrive. Now, before he can even do that, this is whenever there is a loud knock at the top of the room, or at least the top of the building. This confusing Yoshimura, who walks up the stairs and then walks to another set at the end of the other hallway, opening the door to the roof, seeing Midoriya there, covered in blood and with a ruined shirt. Asks him exactly if the young man is alright. Midoriya saying that he is. However, he did encounter a few ghouls. And in fact, things got ugly. So expect news about them. Along with that, sorry about being late. I was having a bit of fun with one of my friends. Well then, I guess I can't really blame you. However, you could have at least called me. I would have helped you. Yeah, but I thought I could handle it. Apparently, though, 3-on-1 isn't really a fair fight. Well, you do at least show remarkable skill with taking those 3 men on, and at least coming out on top. Are you hurt? No, nothing that I can't fix. Anyways, do you have any coffee? I was just about to put on another pot. Take a seat, I'll go find one of my... Well, I think I have a spare shirt in your size. And then we'll at least sit down and talk. I can help you with your practice. Thank you, sir. Midoriya, actually, going over to take a seat. And waiting. As Yoshimura does call Midoriya's mom, and explain to her what the hell happened. Now, with that being said, I do believe that I can leave this off on a very good point. And I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.